So today, before beginning, if you like this kind of content, what should they do again?
Hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe. Check out my car. It's so cool.
It's so cool. What's it called?
The quesadilla is simple. It's all about me.
It's all about you. What'll it do if you pick it up?
Make you have amazing dreams.
Make you have amazing dreams. Wow. And what about the shop here? These things right here. What will these make you do?
Make you have amazing dreams.
Whoa, man, you got to sign me up for that. All right, more on that at the end of the video. Lately, I've been wondering this. At what point does a narrative fall apart? Like, how many issues do you have to see? How many contradictions have to be showcased before an overall narrative is questioned? Like, when you look at something and you look at this quote-unquote overwhelming evidence, and then you start finding issue after issue after issue. At what point do you say, hey, there is something going on here. There is contradiction. And that contradiction, it's been added by these very people. So hey there. So today I want to return to that wonderful world of litigation. And I have to say that this is the most interesting thing transpiring these days. Why? Because there are so many components added to it. If you don't know what we're talking about here, this adds to the VIC MIGNOGNA litigation. This is the affidavit of Emmett Plant. This just came out, and we saw it added to a certain document that's meant to torpedo a person. It's not just meant to torpedo their career. It's meant to torpedo their reputation and never, ever let them come back. That's what you're supposed to be looking at here. Now it's Emmett Plant, online Emmett Initiative, and he talks about specific dates, a specific con, other things that he's covered in a disclaimer before. You know, we've actually seen this guy talk about this on Tumblr. I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't get to see a little bit of this embellishment, like he hissed in her ear like a cartoon snake. I wish I could have seen that, but there is one part of this that I do want you to hook to and remember. It was gross. It was unsettling. It changed my life. Remember that statement. It changed my life. So it had to impact him. It had to impact him quite a bit. You would think right away that would be something you would note. But hey, we'll get back to that in just a moment. So the dates on this are very important. You know, it's part of the narrative, but in order to ask a certain question, I want you to look at a date here. June 29th, 2013. That's the day all of this stuff is supposed to happen, and the con is supposed to go on for another day. So on that day, he says that he met Victor Mignogna for the first time at Bayou Con in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Bayou Con is a small convention. I recall this date very well because it's the first time I met my girlfriend. I'm a producer, composer, engineer, frequent guest at conventions due to my work on the Star Trek franchise. Mignogna was also a guest at Bayou Con that year. Never met him before, and the first I had heard of him was in Bayou Con promotional material. While Mignogna is known primarily as a voice actor, we work in completely separate areas of the industry. As a guest, I was able to meet Mignogna outside of the public-facing side of the convention. He seemed nice when we met initially. Another guest at the convention was Orion's Envy, a 4-lady team of dancers and dance instructors that painted themselves head to toe in bright and glittery green, cosplaying as Orion slave girls from Star Trek's original series. Mignogna, myself, and Orion's Envy were briefly gathered together outside the portico of the local hotel, heading toward an after-show off-site convention event. I witnessed Mignogna grab Dana Price by the back of the neck and hair, pull her down, and hiss something into her ear. I felt this was inappropriate and strange. Dana Price did not consent to this, and she looked very uncomfortable. After this incident took place, Orion's Envy created a quote-unquote buddy system to make sure that none of them were alone with Mignogna. Since speaking out publicly about what I know about MIGNOGNA, I have received messages and threats from fans of MIGNOGNA stating MIGNOGNA was quote-unquote lawyered up and I should be careful. I continue to receive threats and bullying messages from fans that are trying to harass and intimidate me, as well as misrepresent my professional career. I know that others have received similar harassment and threats from MIGNOGNA's fans. So okay. Any kind of blowback there? Any kind of contradiction? Yeah, that's a threat. That's interesting to know. Emmett. So, looking at this date, it sticks out in my mind right off the bat. This would be something, again, remembering out of anything that we've seen, that date, it would be really, really important. Again, it was unsettling and it changed his life. You would think right off the bat that you would have statements about that. And well, you do have statements put online about that specific time. Only. So here's a statement, again, remembering June the 29th, 2013. So June the 30th, that's the second day of the convention. You see the time that this is posted at 9:40 p.m. He says, I tease Vic Mignogna about his hair because I covet it. It's so GD pretty. My new pet name for him is quote-unquote locks of love. So you see this statement here. He is talking about Vic Mignogna, and he's talking about hair. The only thing here is he's not unsettled. He doesn't seem bothered by Vic Mignogna in the least. No, right after this stuff supposedly happened, right after his narrative comes together, he's not only talking about that, but he's talking with another person here. Emmett Plant, amazing. Told you Vic was cool people. See both of you in a month. So you have somebody here, a female no less, that this person is communicating with, saying, hey, Vic Mignogna here, he's cool people. I told you. And him, yeah, you get a good positive note. That's not the only one out there either. I thought that was kind of telling too. You see this statement, and again, this is 4 years later. Again, if it changed your life and you were unsettled, why then would you post things like this? You have Joe Duffy say, I just want Vic Mignogna to know, as a lifelong Trek fan, I appreciate STC's quality and dedication. Another person comes in and says, I've met Vic several times, and man, he seethed love and respect for the property, the fans, and Star Trek. Then you have Emmett here come in and say, Vic is the only person associated with fan films that is in my iPhone's contact list. So, again, in 2013, the guy's not a problem. 2017, the guy's not a problem. But you're unsettled because you saw this stuff. Not only that, but when we're talking about messages that are shopped here, well, this is the guy in 2019 talking about what quote-unquote friends are. I'm confused by friends of abusers, backing up their friend, saying he's not really like that and that the stories aren't true. If I were accused of abuse, my friends wouldn't be backing me up. They'd back me into a corner. They'd bring weapons. So if this is your mindset, if you've carried that all along and you've been talking about this stuff, then the things that they're talked about, again, there's showcasing from videos talking about Orion's envy, talking about everything there. Why didn't we get anything stated about that? Why does it take 6 entire years and positive messages given to people as we progress forward, stating, hey, that guy, he seems like really good people. Don't you think there's a problem there? Now, this guy, he has put out a longer version of this, too. If you've not seen that, this is his Tumblr blog, Vic Mignogna, A Love Story. And you see, again, the way this is set up. I watched him grab her by the neck and pull her hair down, pulling her backwards and leaning in close. He hissed into her ear like a cartoon snake. She was not into it. A little bit of awkward laughter, and she was gone. It was gross. It was unsettling. It changed my life. So you see, more of that day, more of it talked about. And when you look at all of this, again, you think about dates. You think about what transpired with it, and it makes you question certain things about all of this. You know, when you see all of that statement here, you see how it's put together, it makes you question. I mean, all of these things. And again, when you start asking questions and you see contradictory statements, you see them coming from those people themselves. And you also see some of these quote unquote events that prove things. Where does it all fall apart? I think that's a fair question. At what point do you start questioning an overall narrative? And at what point do you start asking questions about why people do this stuff? But anyhow, let me know what you think about this. So check out The Case of the Littlest Umbrella, our all-ages Lovecraftian tale. If you want to help out the channel, this is the way to do it. It and other links in the description. Now, you don't have to do anything there, but if you like this content, especially in the day where certain platforms, they frown upon it, yeah, you can help out this way or check out other links. Also, leave me your comments. I'm curious exactly what you see in this stuff. And really, I want to know with that, when does a narrative start to fall apart? Because that's something that I have to ask myself. When I see this stuff, this quote-unquote overwhelming evidence out here, and I see story after story that doesn't fly, what do you do with that? What do you do with that indeed? I want to end by saying that, hey, while these people too, you have voice actors out here that tell fans to go away. They tell consumers to leave. You have conventions saying, hey, we don't need you there. Well, yeah, you're needed. You're the thing that makes endeavors work. These people have divided community. They attack consumers again and again. And that's beyond absurd. So while they're telling you to walk away, I'm saying, hey, if you want to walk toward, you're welcome here. So I appreciate you. I want to end with that, and we'll do this again together really soon. Thanks.